All right, so the leaves have sat for a little while. They're pretty tender. There's, like I said, some parts of them that are a little dry, but I think they'll roll just fine. This is why I wanted to work on this, like, one piece of parchment paper for everything, right? Because I carry it with the entire process. So now I'm at the point where I'm gonna roll these leaves up. They just go right there on the parchment paper. And then, so basically this pile gets turned into a little pile of little rolled leaves, and then the whole thing just goes right into the oven. So it's pretty handy. So essentially, just like I was doing to kind of get these leaves all opened up for wilting, we're going to do the same thing, just kind of roll it into a ball and go to town. You know, for when I did that corkscrew green, like I said, the whole twisting thing, where I twisted it until it made like a little spiral, and I rolled that. It makes a nice form, right? Can we see that? Right? It's a nice little, like, tightly rolled leaf, but it takes forever. So I say just mash them up. Mash them up until you can feel all the juices coming out of them. And it might be totally fine to, you know, take like a whole pinch of leaves, right, and just kind of mash them all together, you know? I mean, that's cool. But, you know, you might miss a little corner of that leaf where you can extract a lot of that juice to then get roasted on the outside. What I found that this technique, right, where you really work the liquid from the leaves, when you steep it, a lot of that stuff is on the outside of the leaf, so it comes out in the first wash. And so please, for the love of God, when you make tea like this, don't drink the wash. I drink the wash of everything. I drink the wash of really, you know, musty, stinky pu'er of you know, up to white teas. I just think that helps me understand, you know, what's in each tea. You should know what you're washing from it. You know, it might not be the most desirable part of it with the, you know, especially in some show pu'er where, what do they call that? The wet piling sort of notes. You can kind of wash some of those out. I know they're undesirable, but like I said, it gives you an insight into how the tea was made. You can taste how the tea was made, what the tea went through. But for this stuff, like, just drink everything. And my green had, I mean, we steeped that thing over and over and over and over again. I think it's just a testament to, a lot of people say that the crafting of the tea is what's responsible for the flavor of the tea more than anything. You know, even more than, you know, how the tea is grown, the soil that it's grown in, you know, how the nutrients and the climate, and, you know, how pristine the tree forest or the mountainside might be. It's like you take the leaf and you can't make a better tea leaf by processing it, but you can radically change the tea. So overall, it's a, you know, it's a combination. Now, you know, you might say, oh well, you could just pick it and make white tea out of it, and not really do much processing at all. But the thing is, even with a white tea, you have to control the drying time so that it doesn't sit and oxidize too much, or sit and, you know, the leaves actually become sort of rotten, I guess. You see that with a lot of the larger leaf white teas like Moonlight, Shumei, Bai Mudan, a little bit too, where just the fact that you like sit it out in a pile like this and air dry it can you know, it lets it oxidize a bit right? But I think even like a passive white tea process can lead to not the best tea. So anyway, my point is that I think that this is such a great activity and a great thing to be able to do, to be able to get these fresh tea leaves, because it helps you appreciate, like I said before, it helps you appreciate like the time that goes into making a tea to like the final form of the tea. But I think it also helps you appreciate the decisions that the tea farmer and the tea makers that they make. Like how long are we going to let it oxidize? Like what's the weather today? If it's hotter, the tea will oxidize faster. If it's picking it at different seasons, right? So if we're doing like the first spring pickings or the last autumn picking is going to be different than like a midsummer picking. And it might not be drastic, but it's something. I mean, these people are expert craftspeople, just like any other artisan trade. So I'm not going to babble on as I do this whole thing, but you get the idea. Just by mashing it, where are we? Just by mashing it, we get a nice little compact ball. And when we bake that, it'll shrink up even more. But I have some in here like this guy, where the leaf's pretty much opened up. So I might take that guy and try to roll it up a little bit more. But honestly, I'm just gonna make this pretty rustic. It's gonna be a pretty rustic tea. All right, so I'll roll these up. We'll put them in the oven, and we will check in on them in a little bit.